Today, I will be reviewing Deadpool. I'm your host, Red Hood 29. Let's get into this mix. So, the film starts off with, narration with Deadpool, the title crawl, and Deadpool getting into an accident, followed up with Deadpool narration about how he became Deadpool. And so he's, talking to this cab driver. He's like, hey, this is how I became Deadpool. And it shows like flashbacks of him being a mercenary and him saying, like, hey, think of us as tooth fairies who knock out the teeth and steal the cash. And so he's going going on uh he's going on about his life being a mercenary and going back to his friend who's a bartender. He meets this chick named Vanessa, and then they swap stories, and then they go to this arcade where he beats her at skee ball, and things happen. They wind up going back to his place, and yeah, they become intimate for, the duration of all year. Turns out that Wade has, lung cancer or prostate cancer, whichever way you slice it. And so it cuts back to like flashbacks of him in present day looking for Francis, which is the guy who, turned him into a super soldier. And yeah, he's basically like black marketing like super soldiers and selling them to like the highest bidder. And so yeah, Wade winds up leaving Vanessa and tracking down Francis, but not before another flashback where like they take him, like the facility takes him in and is like, hey, please don't make the super suit green or animated, which was a cool little jab towards um which was a cool little jab towards Green Lantern, that felt like DC superhero movie that he was in, which was cool. And then like he's like put through the ringer of like tortures. He's electrocuted, he's drowned, he's put in a freezer. Finally, he's put into like this compression chamber where like the oxygen is like sucked out of the machine, and he like winds up transforming. Like his skin like turns wrinkly, but like he winds up healing and like curing his cancer. Like we get characters like Angel Dust, who is insanely strong, and then we get Ajax, who like scorched his nerve endings so he can't feel pain. Long story short, Wade winds up breaking out of the facility and is going on the hunt for Francis. Then we get a cool little montage of Wade actually making his iconic Deadpool suit and meeting up with, you know, Al, who is his roommate. And so like funny little banter between them. I think the funniest part of the movie was Colossus trying to convince Deadpool to come with him. and bring Ajax along, knowing full well that Deadpool will not make a suitable X-Men. And so, like, so he winds up like getting out of his handcuffs and getting back out there to go find Vanessa because he left her at a crucial time where, like, yeah. And so once he finds Vanessa, like, he tries to like go and get her back, but she winds up getting kidnapped from Ajax. So like Ajax now, like him and his bartender friend, like has to go. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? And so he has to, like, they go back to his hideout and they wind up getting like all the guns from. They wind up getting all the guns from around the house. Oh, and I'm sorry. One little side note, like, cause Deadpool's healing factor is slow. Like when he cut off his arm like grew back like super super tiny, and yeah, like he was actually like talking to Al, who was like visually impaired. So she was like, "So you just gonna lie here and whimper and feel sorry for yourself?" He was like, "No." He was like, "No. What do I keep telling you, Magoo? Like, she won't have me." She was like, "Looks aren't everything, Wade." She was like, he's like, "Oh, but looks are everything." And then like he takes his tiny baby hand and like pushes it up against her chin. And she was like, "Is it just me or is your hand like really tiny?" He was like, "About the size of KFC Sport." She was like, "What are you gonna do now?" He was like, "I'm gonna wait through this hand plows through puberty and I'm gonna go and top a whole new Christmas Day plan." And that's actually what he does. He recruits the cab driver from earlier. He goes to like the X Mansion to recruit uh Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. And like the banter between them, he was like, "Ripley from Alien 3." She was like, "Well, you're old." He was like, "Ha." Fake laughter, hiding real pain. Go get Colossus. She was like, "What for? Y'all gonna have like, y'all gonna go to the movies, a late night bite?" He was like, "Well, not exactly." The guy from earlier that Colossus stopped for me carrying out my plan, he kidnapped my girlfriend. And you're gonna help me get her back. So they wind up going through like the cab ride and like earlier, uh Gouda uh is talking to Deadpool and he was like, "Hey, the advice that you told me to take about like kidnapping kidnapping my cousin, my arch rival, and putting him in the trunk, it actually worked." He was like, "I did not tell you to do that. I said drop him off gently and on his doorstep and go back and win her heart with your boyish charms." He was like, "Kidnap her." He was like, then he was like, "I'm so proud of you." He was like, Negasonic Teenage Warheads in the back, like, "We're so dead." So they get there and he winds up leaving his Hello Kitty bag filled with like all types of guns, and so he was like, "Well, I'm gonna do this with two swords and maximum effort," and he actually does. Um, Turns out Angel came down and beat the stuffing out of Colossus, and so Negasonic Teenage Warhead like winds up exploding with raw power, and you know winds up uh, blasting blasting her to a point where like she's with Colossus and those two are fighting. Wade winds up like just destroying the armed guards and like basically writing Francis's name with the guard's body, and then he winds up going rocketing all the way up to where Francis is. They wind up having a sword fight to a point where Wade winds up getting Vanessa free from the contraption that Deadpool was in earlier throughout the movie. And they wind up just bringing down the ship container. Like, it comes crashing down. Deadpool, Wade Wilson gets tackled by Ajax, aka Francis, to a point where Deadpool winds up breaking Ajax's arms. Ajax is like, "Hey, I made you immortal." He was like, "Yeah, but can you fix my face?" He was like, "Nope." He was like, "No, I can't." He was like, "This stupid way you say it. Like I could fix like the point where you thought I could fix your face. No, 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 no. I cannot fix your face." So like I found it like hilarious that like like Deadpool was able to keep him alive, knowing full well that he wasn't able to fix his face. So like before as Deadpool is about to shoot him, Colossus winds up making this grand speech talking about some hey, like 4 or 5 moments. That's all it takes to like that's all it takes to be a hero. Brush your teeth to a hero, you know, save somebody's cat. And so like Deadpool's not having any of it, so he winds up shooting him in the head. He was like, "Hey, I might be stuck with pepperoni flatbread, but at least he can't wake up from that." He was like, and he Colossus winds up throwing up. He was like, "But why?" He was like, "Hey, you were pruning on, bro. Like, I may be stuck with my face looking like this, but at least he can't get up from that." He was like, "Yeah, I'll be looking out for the next 4 or 5 moments. 4 or 5 moments." Then Vanessa like winds up like getting 2, 3 hits in, and then like Deadpool like reconciles with Vanessa because he left her alone, and she thought he was dead. Like, and so Deadpool's like, "Hey, this face from this man, he's not the same man that you remember." He was like, "He's different." I was like, "Oh." She was like, she winds up pulling back his mask to reveal like a cardboard cutout of Hugh Jackman's face, and they're like also taking that apart. It was like, "Hey, with a couple of drinks, your face will be the one that I'd be happy to sit on." I was like, and so they have like the little little moment, and then you know the movie cuts off. Like it really cuts off. My most the most hilarious scene was actually it's two of the most hilarious scenes. The one where they're on the bridge, Colossus, Deadpool, and Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Like he winds up like telling Colossus, he was like, "Hey, McAvoy or Stewart? Like these timelines are so confusing." And that was actually a foreshadow of that was actually the foreshadow for X-Men Days of Future Past. I was getting ready to say Apocalypse. Like yeah, X-Men Days of Future Past. And also the scene where he like pushed his baby hand up against Al's chin, and she was like, "Is it just me, or is your hand like really small?" He was like, "About the size of the KFC Spork." I'm not gonna lie, I lost my shit with laughter. Like I laughed so hard at that scene in particular. But all in all, Deadpool was a like I'm so glad like they decided to make Deadpool rated R because boy, like this was an enjoyable movie. Like to be frank with you, and I'm so glad that I'm doing this movie review on it. Stay tuned for Deadpool 2. I've been your host, Red Hood 29. Stay tuned for Deadpool 2 movie review. Peace.